Okay, at the end of next season, there will be a brand new collective bargaining agreement put into effect after the 25-26 NHL season, and you should know all the details of it because it's going to change the hockey world as we know it. For good, for bad, we'll talk about it. So, welcome back to the O Hockey Show, and today we're talking about the CBA that's going into effect and all the details that are not officially put out yet, but we do know the details all about it. So, let's talk about it. So, first up, the longest term that a player can sign for is going to become 7 years, unlike the current 8, and 6 years for a free agent. So currently, if you are on a team and you're staying on that team, the longest you can sign for is 8 years. So if you're on the San Jose Sharks, you can sign with them for 8 years, but if you leave the Sharks and the Hurricanes sign you, they can sign you for 7. Now, of course, next year, 7 years if you're already on the team, and then 6 if you're a free agent. So, two things to note. One thing, expect a lot of 8-year contracts like Trent Fredericks that just came out for 8 years. I think there's going to be a lot of free agents that are looking for the longest deal that they can sign for, because why wouldn't they? The longest that they can get currently in the world, and cash in when they can, right? Cash in for as long as they can and take advantage of that last time that they can get, which isn't too big of a deal. Another thing, though, is why did the NHL do this? My guess is that they really are, and I think it's going to go really into effect for this next one, so we're going to hold off on that statement, because number 2 point, and one of the bigger ones as well, is that they're going to be expanding the regular season from 82 games to 84 games, and I think everyone is in complete agreement that the main reason is that expansion is going to be coming soon with some more teams, and I think aggressively, which I think the NHL should be doing. I think it's a smart move by them. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they shouldn't, they should stay, there are too many blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Some people are against it. I think expanding the NHL to markets and having a more grasp on the sports world and grow the sport is exactly what the NHL needs to do, and especially with how much talent the league has. We need it. And I think these are what these two main points are all about. Longest term, shortening the terms of contracts so that there's more player movement in the league, more player movement, meaning more parity, and more parity, meaning more teams that are good, and which means that we need more games in the regular season to make these games more important, and have more games means that you need more teams to fill out those spots. Because currently, if you play your team in your own division, you have to play at least 3 times, maybe even 4. And then if you're cross conferences, you play at least 2 times. Sometimes you play 3 times, but you have to play at least 2. But with 84 games, there's going to be some more spots that are going to be filled in. And of course, Atlanta is going to be a team that is a place most likely getting expanded to. I think they're definitely going to add in a Houston team. There's a lot of expansion that I think is going to be coming down the hill. I think Arizona is going to get a team backed as well. So a lot of expansion coming soon, and with more parity being enforced and being probably rewarded with shorter term deals, a bigger season, and I think the third point as well is playoff salary cap. The loophole is being closed. So, of course, LTIR, everyone making fun of the Florida Panthers, the Vegas Golden Knights, the Chicago Blackhawks in the past, the Tampa Bay Lightning. All these teams that have always done this stuff where they keep a guy on LTIR, like Nikita Kucherov, didn't play a single game in the regular season, and then game 1 of the playoffs, he's ready to go, and they win a Stanley Cup for it, right? It is a bit ridiculous, and they're closing that loophole for good. Now, I don't know the exact details of how they do it, and who knows if there's going to be a new loophole that's going to be out there. If there is one, a team will figure it out. And I don't know the true details of it, but basically that loophole is closed, that there will be a playoff salary cap as well. I don't know if that means that the playoff salary cap will be more than the regular season salary cap, and that when a player you can try to still do it a little bit, but it might be more like $3 million over the cap, and you can't keep Matthew Tkachuk off the books until the playoffs. I don't know the details of it, but between the playoff salary cap loophole being closed and guys like Mark Stone and stuff, that might more enforce as well more player movement, because a team like the Knights and a team like the Panthers can't crowd so much talent on one singular team and then keep guys off the books until the playoffs. Instead, those players will have to be squeezed out of the team, and there will be, once again, more parity across the league. Those players like Matthew Tkachuk can't be off the books, and that means that a guy like Sam Reinhart, a guy like Sam Bennett, cannot also be on the team, and someone will be pushed out. And then the Houston team that'll be coming along can get those guys like Mark Stone and Sam Bennett. And once again, I know these are just ridiculous claims I'm just throwing out there, but you get what I'm saying. All of this is to enforce, I think, more expansion, more parity, and that there's more teams along the way, I think. 4, drafting player rights ends at 22. So the way the NHL draft really works, for those of you that don't know, is that when you draft at a position, right, the team is not drafting the team is what a team is drafting in the NHL is the rights to sign them in the NHL. So when a team signs, when Matthew Schaefer is drafted first overall by the Islanders are drafting his rights to sign him. No other NHL team can poach him. No other NHL team can say, I will want him, right? Schaefer can only sign with the Islanders, and with the new deal coming out, this means that at 22, that the Islanders will hold his rights. So he's currently 18. They will hold his rights for the next 4 years, and then once he turns 22, if the Islanders haven't signed him yet, he will become a free agent, and any team can either draft him or even, depending on his contract situation at the time, could even just sign him. So it's interesting. This one's interesting, and I don't. The main thing I wonder about is Russian players, because we all know the deal that some Russian players, like Kirill Kaprizov, Ilya Sorokin, these guys play in Russia until they're 27, 25. And by that time, the Wild would have lost their rights. By that time, the Islanders would have lost their rights to keep them around on the team, unless they sign their entry-level contract, and that eats up time away at that. So to me, that hurts Russian players, and that hurts teams drafting Russian players. I don't know the true. I've been trying to think about what the true effect of that will be, and I don't really know, because that might mean more whoever the next Kirill Kaprizov is, might just become a free agent for the hockey world and will sign instead of a entry level. I guess they'll have to sign an entry level contract anyways, but I don't know. I've really wondered about that. I'm wondering about this one, about how the effects will change the league. But it's definitely going to change Russian players and some other European players as well. North American NCAA players, that's probably not too much of a big deal. They make the jump anyways usually. But it will be interesting. And I wonder if it's because the NHL is trying to take away that Russian talent at an earlier stage. And I don't really know what the ramifications of that will be. I think it'll be interesting, though, to see what comes of that. But it won't be a few years till we really know. Number 5, no more deferred salary, which is, of course, when a team, let's say, like Austin Matthews, I don't know the exact deal. Well, let's just say Joe. Joe here, he signs a deal with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He signs for 5 years for $10 million a year. So he gets $50 million. But the way an NHL team can mess with that is by deferring the salary throughout the contracts, by front loading it, and that makes the rest of the years go down in value instead of being evenly split. There will be no more of that. It is being outlawed. It is a thing that most teams do to make their AAV go down, because that's of course what the salary cap hit is. So to me, this is an interesting one. And also there is a change to 60% in signing bonuses, which is the main deferral of payment, which is what really messes up the rest of the contracts. I don't really know what the ramifications of this one is going to be either, because this is a huge one for big market teams that have tons of money that they don't really need to worry about, like certain teams like the Sabres. We all know there's a whole deal with the owners not wanting to allow the team to spend more money, and already Buffalo is a place people don't want to sign. But teams like Toronto, who can just give $100 million up front and then be fine with it, they can't have that anymore. They can do it up to 60% of a player's contract, but it is interesting. It is interesting. This will definitely shade certain players away from making certain signings anymore to big markets, and maybe they'll sign with a smaller team. So once again, this is the NHL pushing towards more parity, pushing towards making, and it makes sense. We, like the Blue Jackets, the Blue Jackets, kind of the Senators to an extent recently, I would say. The Islanders, the Red Wings recently, the Coyotes of the past. Just a lot of the teams that we have forever been not anything special for a long time. This will help them out. This will help them out and have an even playing field, a closer even playing field to signing big contract players and having, once again, more parity in the league and making things more even. 6 professional e-bugs. Every team will now have a professional guy on standby for that, and I think that'll be fun because I think we'll get a couple of stories the next few years of certain guys being the e-bug of all time. Who is the best e-bug of all time? We'll start having a debate. Does David Ayres get a contract with the Hurricanes? Maybe. It'll be kind of funny. But a professional e-bug is required by every team. Another one is dress codes. No more allowing teams are not allowed to tell players what they are allowed to wear. I hope that doesn't mean certain players just stop wearing nice clothes. I personally like how hockey is still super professional. Guys coming in looking like superstars. They look super professional, all put together and looking nice. I like that for the hockey world, and I hope that doesn't change too much. I'm sure some players will go crazy with it. We'll see what happens from that one. I think it is interesting, though. And number 8, the last one, this isn't really about CBA, but these are more projections for the limits, not projections, but the limits of how much the salary cap can rise by. And in 3 years, the salary cap could go up to $113 million. Currently, it's $88. That is a $25 million difference. So that is a huge projection, and that changes everything. So that now if a guy signs for $20 million, currently that is a fourth, not a fourth, but it's a little less than a fourth of a team's salary. In $20 million in 3 years, that is not even a fifth. Is that a sixth? It's almost a sixth. Interesting. Wonder how that shakes up things for about like a Connor McDavid signing. So those are all really your big updates. These are the main ones. There's some other ones that I left off the board that just I don't think are too important to really chat about. But these are all the details, and to me, I really like it. I think for a league that is clearly going towards expansion and a league that definitely has problems with LTIR, with certain teams just being good and too good and hoarding talent, and some teams like the Blue Jackets who just have been forever not good, this helps them out a lot. And this will be to make more parity, which is, I think, good for the league. And I'm very excited to see these effects changes. And things won't change for a few years for this to really kick in. But I'm excited to see where this goes. But that is all I got to tell you. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe if you made it this far. And too sweet, have an amazing day. And ta-ta for now.